Living with a narcissistic spouse can feel like navigating a stormy sea of emotions. But fear not, because in today's episode, we're about to reveal the anchor you need to weather the storm and not just survive, but thrive in the face of narcissism. So stay tuned because we're diving into the secrets of how to deal with a narcissistic spouse, and the journey starts now. Hello, and welcome to the Black Marriage and Family Therapy Matters podcast, where we are breaking toxic relationship cycles in the Black community. Today's conversation is extremely valuable, especially for those who are in relationship with a narcissistic spouse, and specifically for those who are in relationship, who are married to someone who is a narcissist. So the more I've been giving you all this content, the more I've been showing up in this space, the more I realized that I think I used to date a narcissist. And one of the examples that really comes to mind is when I remember when we first started dating, and when he described his ex, and his ex's name was Jasmine. I'll never forget it. Everything he said about her was negative. And I couldn't help but, even then in my naivety, and I think then I was 21 because he was teasing me about barely being able to drink alcohol, I just remember feeling like this is a little weird. Like, the only thing that happened wrong in the relationship was her fault. Like, you didn't have anything to bring to the table. Like I said, the more I think about it, I think this was more about his grandiose thought process and his belief in his superiority over her. And had I been more wise and more insightful and knew the information that I had today, I mean, I just chalked it up to just him just having a lack of insight, which is bad enough. But the more, you get into this type of work, and the more you start to see different patterns and themes, this was a form of narcissism. And at that time, I'm not even sure if I had heard the term narcissism. I'm not going to tell you all how long it's been since I was 21, but I will say that that term is much more common than it was at that time. So even though I wasn't even getting my master's yet. I was in undergrad. So no, I had not heard that term. So that's why I do this work, though, is because I want to educate the community. I want you all to have access and resources to tools that were not available, in hopes that it will help you to make better decisions and have more fulfilling and rewarding relationships. So without further ado, let's get started. How to deal with a narcissistic Number one, educate yourself. Literally educate yourself as much as you can about narcissism, okay? And the reason why this is so important is because narcissists, they think differently. So if you go into your interactions with a narcissist, be it a spouse, be it any type of significant other, a parent, a child, a boss, you're going to be looking at it through the lenses of a sane person and healthy person, right? Unless, of course, you're a narcissist. So if you don't have the awareness to interpret the world the way that they see it, then you're not going to understand the motives behind their behaviors and their actions. And that's going to be problematic because, you're dealing with them. You need to understand how they operate. Next, you need to set boundaries. Listen, the good part about being in relationship with someone who is a narcissist, or just someone in general, is you have power. You know that person probably as well, if not more so, than they know themselves. So use that to your advantage. If you know that your partner has a tendency to behave a certain way or act a certain way, respond accordingly. You set the standard. You don't have to necessarily wait for your partner to define the rules or set the tone for what's going to happen next in the relationship. Just because they believe that they hold power, and that's part of their grandiose superiority complex with respect to the narcissism, you don't have to let them have it, right? So you hold the power for your relationships, and you can set the boundaries for them as well. Next, I want you to seek support. You can connect with your friends, trusted family members, mentors that you think can be supportive to you. You can join Facebook. In fact, I enjoin you to join our community, which is the Black Marriage and Family Black Marriage and Family Matters group on Facebook. Just Google that, type it in the little search bar, and join us and begin the conversation and the dialogue of discussing the complexities and the challenges that are created in being in relationship with a narcissist. Practice self-care. Okay, so do something special for yourself, irrespective of how the narcissist treats you. You deserve to experience happiness, you deserve to experience joy, and you're not left to the confines of the breadcrumbing that we talked about yesterday. If you haven't had an opportunity to look at it, please, you can find that video here. Okay, take a moment to reflect on yourself and what they're giving, and give yourself what you're not able to get from your narcissist. Avoid gaslighting. Don't let them have the power and the authority over you to gaslight you. Recognize the manipulation, recognize the control, and take authority over your circumstance. Okay? By recognizing the gaslighting, they're no longer able to gaslight you, because to manipulate and to control somebody, they have to have the power. I'm encouraging you to reclaim that power. Take it back and take authority and dominion over yourself, your actions, your life, and essentially the interactions with the narcissistic significant other. Maintain perspective. Listen, if your spouse is a narcissist, it is about them, not you. So stay true to yourself, hold true to yourself, and know who you are and what you represent. Know yourself, know your value, know your worth, and don't allow a narcissist, husband, spouse, wife, or not, to dictate how you feel about yourself. Stay true to yourself and show up as the authentic person that you are, irrespective of your significant other. Limit your engagement. My mom would say, pick your battles. Okay, a narcissist is typically going to try to get the last word. They're going to try to get the upper hand. They're probably going to try to hurt you. They're going to use criticism, belittling, putting you down, all different types of strategies to make you feel like you're not the person that you are. Again, this is important for them, because if you step into your purpose and operate to the best of your capacity, it threatens their safety. Their safety in the idea that they're superior to you, that they're more grandiose than you, that they're more important to you, that they're more valuable than you. So anything that takes away from that is going to give them a hard time. So if you are battling them, and if you are smart, and if you are driven, and if you have a perspective even that is just different from theirs, it's going to rub them the wrong way. It's not going to help you in the long run. So we want to discourage that so that you can have a healthy relationship with yourself and handle the narcissist in the best ways possible. If your spouse is willing, consider couples therapy. Now, the truth is, it could be hard to get to the narcissist, because sometimes when a narcissist thinks that they're superior and grandiose, then even the therapist might rub them the wrong way, because the therapist, we're supposed to remain neutral and honest. And if the therapist, if they sense that, a lot of times, basically, a narcissist is going to feel threatened by the therapist, because the therapist isn't going to fall for their bull crap. So then they're going to have the additional burden of, okay, well, when people don't feed their superiority and grandiose behavior, then all different other things happen. They could decide not to come to therapy anymore. They could try to turn you against the therapist. They themselves can get into a battle with the therapist, things like that. Of course, the therapist is supposed to be, mindful enough and skilled enough to de-escalate these types of interactions. My point. It can be very awkward when someone is challenging a narcissist, because a narcissist is driven by their superiority and they don't tend to respond well to other people confronting or threatening their superiority. And finally, I want you to focus on your future. At the end of the day, listen, okay? No person is worth your sanity. Okay? If you are indeed with the narcissist, think, and this may be in any situation that's difficult, think about the bigger picture, okay? This moment will pass. It's important for you to be thinking about, how many moments do you want to pass as it relates to your relationship. How many moments do you want to miss in life? How long can you deal with this? What if it gets worse? Things like that. You need to be thinking about that as it relates to narcissism and your spouse and really what you want to do with it. Can you deal with this for another 10 years? What if it doesn't get better? What if it gets worse? You know, is your, because a lot of times we know, is your significant other insightful? Are they open to the possibility of change? Is this something that they do, but then they turn it off? And when, at least when it's off, that you can bring it to their attention that these things are happening? I don't know, but so, you do. Look within and kind of come to terms with some of this stuff. And these are the strategies that I have, at least to help you deal with a narcissistic spouse. Okay, another tool that I have for you that I think is going to be very helpful is my Goodbye Toxicity training. Please check the links in this description and in the bio, okay, of this That's all video. I have for you today. As usual, it's a pleasure to work with you, and thank you for trusting me on this journey. Peace and blessings. Dr. O.